Hi, I'm gonna be going over my data with my parent. I have Liam's mom here. So, hi, I just want to thank you for coming out to this meeting to go over some of the assessments I did with Liam. I'm going to be talking a little bit about each one of them and then his results. So, the first exam that we administered was the phonological awareness screening test, which this basically measures all types of phonological awareness and his ability to manipulate onset and rhymes, his ability to rhyme, delete, isolate, add, change, anything that has to do with sounds and part of the word. So to begin, this test was categorized in levels. So to begin, we started on level D, and he scored very well. He was able to answer 8 out of 12 and 6 out of 12 with automacy. So that means that he was able to give me the answer like this. So then we moved into onset and rhyme levels, which that's basically isolating the first initial sound with the rhyme. So for example, if I said the word feet, he would say feet without the and it would be eat. So it's his ability to be able to isolate that first initial sound. He got all of them correct, and he was only able to give me 3 automatically, but it wasn't far behind his level. So he took maybe a second behind automatically. So I would count it automatically, but as far as the screening was, it wasn't counted. But he did very well in that aspect. We were able to actually finish the test. This test is discontinued after certain levels or failed, but he was able to go all the way through level M. We moved into basic phoneme, which is being able to identify the individual parts of a word. And he got 5 out of 5, and he got 2 out of 5 automatic. Level L and level M are the higher level ones, and that's advanced phoneme, which it also has to do with the individual parts of a word. But there are questions that are a little bit more difficult, such as maybe asking him, say some, now say some, but instead of change the to a so it's just changing that isolated sound. He was able to get 4 out of 5 correct on there, so he did very well on that, and he was able to do that super good. Again, he didn't get any automatically, but he was able to do it like a second behind automatic, so I think he did very well for that. On the last level, it was the same thing. He got 11 out of 20 correct, which he only got 9 wrong. But for a first grader to do that, I think he did very, very well. So that is, those are his results on his phonological awareness screening test. Another exam that we did, well, to begin with, he is on grade level. He's actually a little bit advanced on there. His highest correct level that we have there, well, the total was 38 out of 52, so he obviously got more than half correct, and he was able to score very high on that exam. So the next screener that we did is the core phonics survey. So this is basically asking him to name the letter sounds individually. He got 26 out of 26 on uppercase and 25 out of 26 on lowercase, which he only missed one, but that was still very well. He got all his consonants right, but one. Instead of C, he said K, but that's a common mistake. He was able to get all of the short and long vowel sounds correct. We moved into reading and decoding skills. So this is basically his ability to decode a word and read it appropriately. Part one, he was able to get 5 out of 5 on everything, so he got 15 out of 15. Consonant blends, he got 11 out of 15, which is basically like BL, make the sound bull. So he struggled a little bit on some of the words like quilt, silk, qued, all of those, which they vary because they're usually words that aren't common. I know that he is also on the dyslexia spectrum, and I know he's getting screened for that. But I do see a little bit of characteristics in here. Um, we moved into short vowels, digraphs, and trigraphs. He got 12 out of 15. He did very well on those. He only mixed some of the digraphs, which he only said one of the words. So for example, we had a trigraph DGE, and he would read the word as Dodd instead of Dodge, is blending those sounds together, but that was still very well. We started to struggle on part H, which was R controlled vowels. These are any word that has a vowel controlled by an R. So it would be any word that has AR, OR, ER, IR, all those or sounds, he would do it, which that moves into him, being a first grader and still him still learning how to differentiate between a long vowel and a short vowel and being able to combine it with a consonant. We moved into long vowel spellings. He scored 8 out of 15. Again, it's the whole vowel pair that he's struggling with, which that is a little bit more advanced. That gets introduced in first grade, but second grade should he's still doing very well. It's variant vowels and low frequency vowels. Again, these are words that are not common, which he struggled with, but that's okay because he's only in first grade. For the open syllable assessments, those are words like hi, mo, me, re, any word or part of a word that has a long vowel. He scored 12 out of 15, so he did very well on there. That was his core phonics assessment that we did. The third assessment that we did was the core graded high frequency word survey. So we were able to start a word list and he was going to read them and we would discontinue the exam after 3 consecutive wrong answers. He scored very well on list 1, which is appropriate for his grade level. So he is on grade level. He only made 2 mistakes, which is okay because you were supposed to make 3. So that's very well on that. We did do a San Diego quick assessment. And this exam basically measures, it's basically just a quick way to gauge a student's ability to read grade level material. So basically we give him some words and he's able to read them. And the more he's able to read correctly, the higher level. So I started him on primer, which he got 0 errors. He did very well. We moved into grade 2nd. He only got errors, which he's on grade level for that. I bumped him up to a 2nd grade list, which he got 3 words wrong. And it was the same errors that he made on the other one, which are controlled words, which is very common for someone his age and his grade level. One of the last exams was the MACR oral reading frequency fluency measures. Basically, I gave him 3 passages, and he had 1 minute to read as many words as he can using expression, correct punctuation, tone, automacy, all of that good stuff that makes a good reader. I kept in mind that he's being screened for dyslexia. He was able to read 30 words per minute. At the end of first grade, he should be able to read 60. So he's reading half of that right now. He should be reading at least a little bit more than that, but we're going to keep practicing. Hot read, and that way he's able to see one day where he stops, the next day where he stops, and the third day where he stops reading the same passage. He was able to read 40 words per minute on his second passage and 30 words per minute on his third passage. So he is on grade level for that. The last assessment we did was a handwriting assessment. I gave him 3 tasks. He was able to write the uppercase alphabet, lowercase alphabet, and 1 sentence I gave him. He did amazing on the uppercase. He had correct spacing. He had correct letter structure. On lowercase, he was able to go all the way to H with proper structure. And then the letters just got smaller, but he did not miss any. So he knows all his letters. The last assessment on handwriting was he wrote a sentence and he did outstanding. He capitalized his initial letter, he had his punctuation, and he wrote every single word on the correct line in his structure. So overall, assessing him in all of these materials, Liam is on grade level. The only things we're going to work on in intervention is a little bit more of exercising vowels, reading a lot more words that he's not familiar with. That's maybe something you could do at home. I know for a fact that he loves reading, even though he struggles to read. He's told me, and I know you've told me, and his teachers told me that he loves to read. So as long as he's reading every single day, no matter what pace, that's going to help better him. Is there any questions that you have for me?
No, I think you did. Covered everything, and if there's any concerns, you went over those. You let you know he's in the dyslexia spectrum. but I'm really glad that he is where he is, regardless of that barrier that we do have with him. And we will continue to be working on those and practicing at home also.
Good. And I appreciate your time. Liam's amazing. I love him. And he loved every single part of this test. I did want to mention he was not nervous at all. He was ready and he was ready for once I finished one assessment, he was like, when are we going to do the other one? So that's what I really loved. Even though he struggled, there was no signs of frustration, no signs of anxiety, no signs of nothing. He truly just enjoys learning. So thank you for meeting with